Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Podcast 572. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. I'm joined just by Matt this week. Dan is out on assignment. He'll be back with us in the next 2 weeks. I'll tell you this. He'll be back with us in 2 weeks, and he'll be able to fully talk about Spider-Man. Brand new day. As will I. So, because I bought my tickets for it as well. I bought my tickets for that movie late. And I could not go to the theater I normally go to because it is completely sold out Thursday night.
Dang, I really want to go see it, but I don't know if I'm going to.
And what's crazy is they start showing that movie on Thursday at noon, like every hour. It is sold out every show. And I was like, okay, I can either go and drive out to the town that I used to live in, which that theater, like, it's like half sold out, or I can go to the other theater that's by the mall by us and not drive as far. And they happen to have like a 7:55 showing, so I was like, "We'll just do that." I haven't been to that theater since. That's
crazy. I guess I haven't even looked. I haven't even looked to see how the theaters in my area.
Well, I was waiting to see if our other buddy was going to go with us because Dan had already made other plans, and then I think he's going with his kids or something. And I was like, "All right, let me see if my other buddy, if I can drag him to see it." No, he doesn't want to go, so I'm like, told my wife, like, "You and I will go. I guess I'll buy tickets now." And that's why I was like, oh shit, I guess I can't get tickets at this theater. So I had to pay a little, because that's the other unfortunate thing. The theater by me is like relatively inexpensive compared to like normal theater tickets are like $15 a person now, at least where I'm at in the country. The other theater, it's like $7 to $10. So it's a significant difference. And the theater's nice. It's not like it's a cheap theater or anything like that. But I ended up having to go to the other theater. So it's like $15 a person. So. But we haven't been to that theater in a while. So
I'm looking at the show times in the theaters and where I'm at, and they're getting pretty filled too. That's wild.
Yeah, like people give a shit. So I was like, all right. Yeah. So, but we're locked in for that, and I'm sure he'll be more than ready to talk about Spider-Man as I will too. I'm looking forward.
Yeah,
I look forward. It'll be the first movie I've seen in the theater since Supergirl. So
I'm really shocked you didn't go see the Odyssey.
I didn't go. So the funny story about the Odyssey is that as it got closer, I lost more interest because I'm just like, man, it's 3 hours long. My biggest issue with the Odyssey is that it is the way in which it is filmed. If you don't go see it in IMAX, why even bother? Like, if you look at the side-by-side shots of that movie, there is so much more that is filmed in the frame with an IMAX camera for that movie than if I went to a regular theater. So I'm like, I'd have to go to the IMAX. The only 70 millimeter IMAX theater by me is Navy Pier, Chicago. I'm not going to do that. Also, you can't do that because all of the showtimes for the 25 theaters in America that play IMAX 70 millimeter were sold out since last year for the next 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
So there's only 25 theaters in America playing that movie the way Christopher Nolan intended it to be played. Think about that.
That's wild.
So I kind of was like, man, if I want to go, I want to go to IMAX. I don't know. I just don't feel like I want to go through everything just to do that. And so that kind of made me lose interest. Like, I still want to see it.
Yeah.
And I will eventually watch it when it's up. I hope that when they make a 4K of it, it has kind of like Nolan's past movies. It has the features of like, okay, it is the full screen, like full display, like it was played in IMAX. Okay. They did that with Oppenheimer and some of the other movies that he's put out when they come out on 4K. Yeah. And then I learned this week, my mom actually texted me. She's like, your dad wants to see that in IMAX now. So I think she was trying to wrangle me to go see it with him because she doesn't want to go. And I'm like, I don't want to go at this point. I'm going to go see Spider-Man. So I'll eventually see it. But I don't know. I just don't like the excitement and the luster of that movie are just at this point lost on me. And I'm like, I recognize it's got a great cast of people. I'm sure it is good. Most of the reviews are pretty solid for it. I don't think it's going to be the greatest movie. I'll put it this way. I don't think it will be better than Oppenheimer for me. Okay. I really liked Oppenheimer. So, but sense. I do want to see it. I'm interested. I've heard that the scene with the witch turning the people into pigs is fucking crazy. I don't know if you've seen, like, she's like molding the people's face after they eat the soup into like pig faces. Like, it's part of the story. So I've heard is terrifying.
I'll probably end up, honestly, I'll probably try to catch it whenever it like comes out, but I don't think it's anything I've ever.
The drive-in theater by me this next week is playing The Odyssey and Jackass Best and Last. And
that would be something I would go see.
And I'd be interested in it, but you have to remember The Odyssey is 3 hours long. They start playing the movie at 9. Ooh. So Jackass wouldn't start until at least 12:30 because there's an intermission. Ooh. And I'm like, man, I don't want to be at the drive-in till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like maybe 10 years ago, but not at my age now. And maybe that's me being an old man, but no, man, I'm good. I can't do that. So because even my wife has been asking me, like, what movie are we going to go see at the drive-in? Originally, we were talking about Mandalorian, and the reviews for that were terrible. Yeah. And we never really, I think we've looked at what they're going to do for the throwback season this fall, so we'll probably do one of those.
Okay.
But yeah, I just no. Actually, one of the things they are doing at the drive-in this fall is really cool. They're going to show all 3 Back to the Future movies in one night.
Well, that would actually be decent. Like that would be good.
And like it's the fall, so it's not going to start at 9 o'clock at night. They can probably start it at 6, and it won't be as bad. So I consider that one. I think that's pretty cool. But
that's what's up.
Yeah, no, that's my thoughts on I want to play the Odyssey. I want to watch the Odyssey, but I'll wait. I'm not hyped on it. So
yeah.
But as far as what I've been playing, I platinumed Control Ultimate Edition. I really ran through that game hard last week. I had time last weekend. My wife's been dealing with some other stuff, so she was away most of the weekend. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just plow through Control. I got really into it again. Like I said, I have not played Control since it came out in 2019 on the original, or I'd say original. It was on the Xbox One X. So the game ran that game should never have been released last generation. They should have just waited until these systems launched because it ran like trash. Okay. The Ultimate Edition is the best way to play it, and it plays great on a modern console. Like it plays how it should play. But it was really a game that was kind of like a year too early, and really just between all the stuff you could do, because you can glide around in that game. You have telekinesis powers, so you're throwing shit around constantly. That game just cannot handle that very well on a last generation system. That was also one of the first games that had ray tracing.
Oh, yeah.
None of that was in the last gen versions. That was very much like a heavy PC centered thing. So that's all obviously in the Ultimate Edition on current gen consoles. So, but I also never played any of that DLC. So I got to play through those. One of them really connects to Alan Wake. So it kind of at the time set up the events of what's going to happen in Alan Wake 2. I didn't know that because I didn't play those DLCs. It's kind of cool to see that connection. And then because I platinumed that, I did all that. I was like, you know what? We still got about 2 months until Control Resonant. Maybe I'll just run through Alan Wake 2 again and platinum. So it's been a couple years. I'm like, you know what? Then I'll be fully ready and prepared for Control Resonant. I don't know how much of Alan Wake 2 will be in Control Resonant. I'm sure there'll be mentions of they will mention the story, or there might be a cameo or something, but that's all I really expect. But Alan Wake 2 is a tremendous game as well. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start playing Alan Wake 2. So I installed that. That game's also heavily PS5 Pro supported now, so it does look like a lot better than when I played it originally on the Series X a couple years ago.
Okay.
So I just started that. I'm literally at the very beginning of it. I started it the other night. I think hopefully while I'm playing it, the DLC for it goes on sale, and I'll download that and play that. But I'm like, it's $20. I'm like, just run it on a summer sale or something, and I'll grab it. Because I would like to play the DLC for it. I didn't play any of that. The only other major thing that I've been playing, and this was the PlayStation. So I've had this on my PlayStation for years. It is one of the plus free games this month, and that is Crosscode.
Okay.
Dan has been playing it as well, so I'm sure he is much farther in it than I am. I originally played this game back when it came to Game Pass, probably 2021, 2020, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And played a little bit of it there. And then for whatever, I bounced off of it for whatever reason. And now I was like, you know what? I've had it on PlayStation forever. I saw it was going to be in the Plus lineup. So it kind of reminded me of the game. And I'm like, you know what? I'm in the mood for that. I'm also just trying to keep myself occupied so I just don't immediately get sucked back into Crimson Desert. Because that is still sitting on my PlayStation. I look at it every time, I'm like, I could just go exploring some more in Crimson. I can't do it. I keep digging myself out of that quicksand for that game. So, but Crosscode is really good. My biggest gripe with the game, and I'm sure the next time we record, Dan will go into it more heavy because he's about. I think when I texted him last night, he told me he's about 75% through it. Okay, so he's a lot closer to the end than I am. But the game is very puzzle heavy. And the dungeons tend to be they're very simplistic puzzles that get a little bit more complex as they go. But they tend to drag these dungeons out way too long, where it's like, you could cut this down. The game also has a weird, like, the combat is real time. It's not a turn-based thing. So it's very action-based. You're either attacking or you throw like these, they're called spheres. You're a spheremancer. I believe that's the name of the. But you basically aim with the right stick like it's a shooter. Those controls are okay. They could be a lot tighter, and that leads to some problems with how you do puzzles in the game because you have to bounce these balls off different mirrors and stuff a lot of the time, and it can be challenging to aim that shit sometimes. So I can see what he's saying early on as I'm playing the game, and like, yeah, I kind of remember that was the issue I had when I originally played a little bit of it, and why I bounced off of it pretty quickly was that stuff does become cumbersome later on. The game looks tremendous, and it has a banging soundtrack. Soundtrack for that game is amazing. Really, really good stuff. It's a mix of like 16-bit era music and then a little bit more like orchestral stuff that you maybe wouldn't have heard in that era. So it mixes it really well. And then I think the visual style is really good. So it's basically like you're basically a NPC that is stuck in an MMO game. So you are working with people that are outside of this MMO that are trying to help you as an NPC. Right. And you have to rely on other people that are logging in and out of this MMO. As you go through. So it's got a really interesting story. Yeah. So really, otherwise, like really, really good game. Great Plus game. If you have PlayStation Plus, like I said, it was one of the free games of this month. So if you've never played it, it's on everything too. You can get it on Switch. You can get it on Xbox. You can get it on PlayStation. It's on Steam. So
it's available everywhere.
It's available everywhere. It's not a new game. Not a new game. So because I think Dan and I have been talking about it, and like I don't have anything until Control Resident at the end of September. So I'm just kind of going through stuff right now. I think today I mentioned him, like he was letting me know that I think on Woot or something has Dragon Quest 7 reimagined for like 40. I already have it. And I told him, I was like, I think when I'm done with Alan Wake 2, depending on where I land between there and end of September, wherever that is, maybe I'll finally crack open one of those Dragon Quest games and try to run that. Because I have Reimagined and I have those HD remasters of 1, 2, and 3. So that are just sitting here. So I should probably try. I'm in the mood. I looked at, I'm like, I could go for one of those kind of games. So yeah. Man, anything to keep me off of Crimson Desert, man. It's just, so even funny. Today, when I turned on my PlayStation, I had like an hour or so before we were going to record, and I was like, I'll play some Crosscode, and I saw the little update going for Crimson Desert. I was like, I could log in and see what they've updated. I know that they did add the ability for that game now to cross save. So like if you wanted to re-get that game on Steam or move your save to a different console, you can do that now. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. So, but that pretty much covers me. The other thing that we'll be able to talk about next time we record is Halo. Halo is out in early access today. What is early access for a remake of a 25-year-old game?
I don't even know.
I didn't get that version. I just bought the regular one. So, but we'll be playing that next week when it launches. So that'll be probably the big thing that at least Dan and I will be able to talk about next time we record is Halo Campaign Evolved on the PlayStation. We're going to talk about playing Halo on the PlayStation for the first and probably last time.
That's so crazy.
But oddly enough, like as much as I complain and groan about it, I'm excited to play Halo.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, what about you, Matt? What have you been playing?
So I did pick up Ravenous Devils the last time we talked, and started that. And I was right. You can upgrade your oven and your clothing store to kind of produce faster and stuff like that. So the upgrades on it are actually pretty cool. I haven't played too much of it, so I don't know like what story they're going into, but I'm gonna keep playing it because it's one of those games where you can play a couple of rounds of it and then like take a little break and then just jump right back into it and kind of keep going. There are other recipes too. You don't just make the meat pies from what I saw. You can make other things too. You just have to unlock those. And the only way to unlock them is you have to like earn. So you earn money from selling your pies and selling the clothes that you remake from the people you kill. And depending on how much money you make will depend on your ability to upgrade stuff. So that's interesting. I haven't got too far into that, but I am hoping this weekend I might be able to dive into it a little more. The game that kind of took my attention right now is the Hong Kong Massacre.
And it's awesome.
That game is wild. It's so much fun. And it has kept my attention over here the past couple of past 2 weeks.
Have you played Hotline Miami?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because that's essentially what Hong Kong Massacre is. It's like a more realistic Hotline
Miami. Yes.
It's really good.
I like it a lot.
I bought that, I think, around last Christmas when there was like that 2-week period where I was sick. Like I had the flu and stuff, didn't want to get out of bed. So I started using my Steam Deck more. And that was that game's always cheap on Steam sales, like $2 maybe, $3, something like that. So I picked that up and played through most of it in one sitting. And that game is really, really good.
It's very good. I really enjoyed my time with it so far. So I'm going to try to dive in more into that. I didn't realize, but today the Marvel Tokon fighting beta dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually downloaded that and I played a couple of matches in that. It is not what I thought it was going to be. So I thought it was going to be a 4-on-4 game.
Okay.
Like Marvel versus Capcom. You pick 4 people. It's 4 characters. You fight 4 characters. It is not like that.
Okay.
What it is you pick 4 characters that you can cycle through during the match, but you only have 1 life bar. So all 4 of these characters share 1 life bar.
Okay.
So
that's kind of crazy.
It's weird. The gameplay in it's cool. You essentially on the beta right now, I think you can play as everybody. So like all the people that are unlockable in the very beginning of the game, you can play as.
How long does the beta run till? Is it just over the weekend or?
Yeah, just the weekend. So jump on it if you want to.
I'm not a big fighting game fan. Like I have the certain ones that I really like Dead or Alive is a favorite. Mortal Kombat is a favorite. Yeah. Never been a huge I like the characters of Street Fighter, but I've never been a big fan of playing Street Fighter, maybe outside of Street Fighter 2. I'm really excited about that Street Fighter movie, but I'm not oh man, they made I never played Street Fighter 5, I never played Street Fighter 6, so I think the last one I played was 4.
So I don't play a lot of fighting games, but I play them depending on the kind of people I'm with.
Yeah.
So one of my best friends, he's big into Marvel versus Capcom and all of that. So he's already got Tokon pre-ordered. So I messaged him today. I was like, yo, just so you know, the beta is out today if you want to give it a shot. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. And I have other friends that I grew up with and we play fighting games together. But I don't have a specific favorite to them all. I think I've always been more partial to Tekken just because a lot of the characters there kind of, I'm not going to say play the same, but if you know how to play with them, you're actually really good in the game. So
Yeah.
there are like 5 or 6 that I can play really well with, no matter what game it is. Like I could just pick up a Tekken game, and if that character's in it, I immediately know what I'm doing. So it's pretty easy.
So Soul Calibur would be the other one.
I like Soul Calibur too. That was
Yeah.
solid. But yeah, it was interesting because, like I said, I was expecting a 4-on-4 matchup, and not the way they did it now. So I don't know how I'd really feel about the game. I think I'm definitely interested in it, but I think I'm interested in it when it goes on sale than anything
It's out.
else.
Isn't it out like beginning of August? It's pretty soon.
Yeah.
I know.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think that's why they're doing the beta, just to kind of get like eyes on it and whatnot. But I mean, it's still fun. If you like fighting games, it's still fun to play, and it's cool to see the character design of the characters.
Yeah,
and how
I
they
think
done
that's
them.
the coolest
That's
because
really awesome.
it's made by the Arc Axis people or whatever, right? The
I
people
believe
that make
so.
the Guilty Gear. So
Yeah.
it has that crazy like anime art style that looks really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I downloaded this other demo called Dino Blade.
You sent me a link, and I had to look it up immediately just to see if it was some sort of joke thing or if it was real.
No, it's real.
And I added it to my wish list, but I think the full game is out now, but I haven't gone back to see, like, do people like it? Is it trash? Like, I don't know.
So it did come out this week. It is actually currently on a 10% sale.
Okay.
If you want to snag it.
What are the reviews though?
The reviews right now are very positive. So it's saying 90% of the 638 user reviews for this game are positive.
So, because is it just not? It's just a Souls game, except you play as a dinosaur with the blade in his mouth, right?
That's it.
Okay.
So the only reason I grabbed the demo is because I was on TikTok or Instagram and I was watching Reels, and I ran across the guy who actually designed the game. Like he was talking about the game in depth. I think it was like sometime earlier in the year. And he said the name of it was called Dino Blade. And I was like, interesting. Like okay, interesting idea. It's not horrible. I haven't gotten like too far into the demo. It's not bad. For me, it kind of plays like, honestly, like I feel like a PS2, PS3 game would play.
Okay.
Like, it's not. I didn't feel like it was as clean as like a
modern
Elden Ring
game.
or like a Souls game is, but it's interesting because it's a fucking dinosaur with a sword in his mouth.
Are you fighting other dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Do the other dinosaurs have swords as well?
Yes.
Okay.
They either have swords. I think I was looking through just like film and like screenshots. Some of them have like scythes and spears and stuff like that.
I will get the demo.
It's interesting. I will definitely say that. Yeah, it's a very interesting game. I know
where the idea comes from because there's a boss in one of the earlier Dark Souls games that is. It might be the first Dark Souls. I don't remember, but there is a boss that is a wolf with a sword in its mouth like that. So that's exactly where they got the idea, and they were like, "What if it was a fucking dinosaur?"
Well, it's very smart because I think it plays really well. It's fun. It's just a nice little interesting throwback type fun dino game. And then I've picked back up Pal World.
Yeah, because that's a full release game now, right? Like that was the most recent thing.
I believe so. I have a friend who streams content, and she was telling me she has her own server on Pal World, her and her team. And so she's like, hey, why don't you jump back in and play with me? And I was like, dude, I haven't picked up Pal World in like months.
Yeah.
I stopped playing it because I got really far and I died, and I was pissed because I died with a lot of good equipment, and the place I died I can't get back to because it's surrounded by other like pals that like really like if I get near it they'll just kill me again. So I was like, I know I'm done. I stopped playing it because I got pissed off.
Yeah.
And I picked it back up, and thankfully when I picked it up this time it threw me across the map. So I was like, oh, Okay, well, I guess I'll just start back from here. And like, I made it back to my camp, and I was able to like upgrade my like update my outfits and stuff like that. So I decided to start playing that again. There's a lot more going on with it PAL wise than the last time I remember to it. So it's interesting. I would definitely say that. If you haven't tried PAL World, give it a shot. It's not horrible. It's pretty fun. But that's it. That's all I played this past 2 weeks.
Yeah, like I said, it's been just a lot of control.
Yeah.
Control led me to rewatching something. We'll talk about that when we get to movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much been that stuff. We can kick over to the news. There's not a lot of news this week because I think after the Sony DISCS fiasco last week,
nobody really wanted to put shit out.
E3 and stuff is kind of like, we're past that. We're now in that part of summer where like we're just kind of waiting to get to September when shit starts coming out. So there's not really a lot to talk about, other than like the normal doom and gloom of the games industry right now. But the funny thing is, I put this in here like 2 weeks ago, the first article we're going to talk about today, and then because I was excited about this game, so I saw this and was like, hey, cool, it's got a release date. Then the previews for the game came out, and apparently it's not great.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that is Agefield, which is that like spiritual successor to Bully game. It's supposed to be out. It has a release date now of August 12th on PC. With it will come to consoles later this fall. The previews have been bad, like really bad.
Mean.
To the point of it's not just like being put down, because at first when I saw it, I was like, okay, they're put down because it's a game that's made to be set in the early 2000s, so it's going to have that kind of humor. So the first thing I was like, okay, maybe that's why people are down on it. But no, it seems like the game has a lot of technical issues. So I looked at this and said, this game is going to come out. It will have technical issues. They will put out a roadmap, and I'll wait till it gets to whatever they call version 2.0, where they fix all the problems.
Yeah.
And then I'll be in on it. So I'm just bummed because I was really looking forward to this as someone who wants another Bully. And again, it could be a preview. Maybe it comes out on August 12th and they fix those issues. And it's not bad.
It looks clean.
It looks clean until you start watching people have conversations, and then like their faces look kind of goofy. I've read that, like, because I see it on your screen. Like, I've read that the bicycle mechanic is not great.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of repeated dialogue with, like, NPCs. I mean, you have to remember, this is a small team. This is a Rockstar making Bully, too. So, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it. I'm curious what the price point is. They haven't set. There's no price, I think, on Steam yet. So, I can't imagine this comes out as a full price game. I feel like it's probably like a $30. Yeah, 30, maybe 40.
Yeah,
Gosh, if it's higher than that, I don't know, man.
I don't know. I give it 39. I feel like 39.
I can see
good.
39. I can see 29 to 39 being the price for it. So
definitely.
But it went from like, oh yeah, I'll be there August 12th to like, I guess I'll watch it.
Maybe I'll wait till like the next week.
Yeah. So, apparently there's these weird ports of Black Ops 1 and 2 that came out only for PlayStation. They're remasters of just Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. Apparently they are also terrible and broken. I just learned this too when I was looking through that. They don't include any of the DLCs. So they don't have any of the DLC maps, any of those zombie maps.
What's the point?
Exactly. And I it's funny because when I was looking around on the PlayStation Network store the other night, I realized like they're out. They are regularly $40 a piece, but they're on sale for $20 if you have Plus right now.
Jesus.
Which I feel like $20 is probably the appropriate price they should start at. But especially when you don't have any of that DLC. That's crazy. So, but again, those new ports, they're only on PlayStation, which is crazy because Microsoft owns Activision. You'd think they'd want to put those out over there as well.
No, that's too much work, man.
Hot on the heels of Halo Campaign Evolved coming out, we learned amongst all this Xbox scuttle that's going on with everything that Halo Studios canceled that unannounced multiplayer project. So that was the thing that was, I think at one point it was rumored to be a battle royale when that was kind of the hot trend.
Okay. Yeah.
But that has been canceled. I like my issue with Halo is I have no idea what the future is. Because I'll mention this too, because I think it's the last article I put in here, one of the last, and we can just talk about it now too. Apparently, at the end of Halo Campaign, so Halo Campaign Evolved is out today if you bought the early access, which again, right. I don't know why people are buying early access for a 25-year-old game, but that's each their own.
Yeah.
Apparently, when you beat the game, and I would assume this is I think it's a legendary if you beat it on legendary, there is a different cutscene that basically teases they're going to remake Halo 2 in this engine. So they're clearly going to remake Halo 1, 2, and 3, and that is probably the future for this franchise, but like, that is still incredibly lame to me. Like, to not make a new game, your first thing is to revisit Halo Combat Evolved again.
Yeah, of course.
So, again, we'll be talking more about Halo next week, so I'll have more to say about it. I am excited, and I think that the remake looks great visually, but we'll see. My biggest issue going into it, and probably will still be my biggest issue coming out of it, is no multiplayer, and that's a huge problem.
How do you not have multiplayer in that? That's all.
I don't know how they couldn't do it.
That's wild.
I don't know why they didn't do it. I can even forgive them not putting this game out on the 25th anniversary in November if they had multiplayer. Like, I could forgive that decision. You know why they're not doing it in November? It's because of GTA. But
of course, yeah.
It's wild to me. That's a big part. Like, I could understand most games of that era. Like, sure, you cut the multiplayer mode, but that is a huge component. We can chalk this into the GameStop dumbass move of the week, but GameStop's idiotic CEO, it's Ryan Cohen? I always want to say Randy. I think it's Ryan Cohen, the guy that owns Chewy.com. He has two big things going on right now. Number one, he's insisting that Sony killing PlayStation physical discs off will not affect GameStop at all. I don't know how you could say this when that is like 80% of GameStop's
like
business.
Face. Like, how can you say that? Like,
exactly. Like, that's literally GameStop's business model and has been since their inception. Used games. They run the used market. Let's be fair. That is all going to go away because now it's just all going to be considered a retro and that's it. So if he's trying to say that, oh, well, we're going to fall back on collectibles don't sell in that store. They didn't sell when they were starting to bring that stuff in when I was still there, and they don't sell today. You go into a GameStop today, they're basically selling that stuff so cheap they're begging you to take it because it's just sat on the shelves for months and months on end, and nobody's going in there to buy it. So I cannot understand that. The other thing that is going on right now, I didn't put the article in here on it, but this guy is really insistent on buying eBay.
Yeah.
And we talked about it maybe like a month or two ago. He had made them an offer where he doesn't even have part of the money that he would need to make the offer, but he still made the offer, which is fucking crazy to begin with.
What would you have done if they would have been like, okay?
Now, his new tactic is he's now gone and bought enough stock that he owns 10% of the stock for eBay, which makes sense. That's who this guy is. He's all about the stock market. So I guess that's his play, is he's going to do that. And it's silly and ridiculous to me. So I think, give me 1 second, because I think we got an email about it too. So I'll read that now.
Okay.
Rich from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Hey, buds. Always enjoy when you guys talk about GameStop. I'm curious with the CEO's current plan to get eBay. Do you see that becoming the absolute end of GameStop as we know it? If so, what do you all think becomes of the name and the brand? Does it just roll into an online space under eBay? So I think we talked about last week, Dan had brought up like the Reddit post and that guy talking about like more store closings this year. You're going to see more store closings this year than I think we ever have with GameStop. But I absolutely think and believe at this point that is this guy's plan, is to liquidate GameStop and just keep it in name only and roll it into whatever he wants eBay to be. And maybe that becomes, some of these brick and mortar stores become eBay stores or something like that. Like, I know some of that there are eBay stores that exist, just not in that specific way.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, like I just think it's a stupid move. Like, what do you benefit from trying to purchase eBay?
I don't get it either. I don't get how that would benefit GameStop other than to take that company for him to jump on to the next thing.
The only thing I can think of where the benefit to buying eBay would be right now for GameStop is the fact that eBay has that partnership with PSA.
Yeah.
And if GameStop is moving towards the card selling market too, then
I would say they're rapidly moved into that. I don't think they're moving. I think they've rapidly moved into that market.
But the thing is, like, you have the product that is on the shelf on GameStop is so overpriced, like beyond priced. Like, if you're buying card product from GameStop, you really need to take a look at your life, because there's no reason to be paying those crazy prices for cards. Like, there's no reason for it. So it's like, if you want to be a card selling shop as well as a collect, like, you just want to be an overall video game store that sells collectibles and shit like that, you've got to be priced better than this. Like, there's no way in hell you're making any money off of your PSA card selling bullshit mystery bags. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. I don't understand it.
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, like, I really think between this, what he's trying to do, and then on the flip side coming out and saying, well, no more physical games, it is irrelevant to GameStop. That just, to me, tells me that GameStop is getting ready to close a lot sooner than I think people think.
For sure.
So, Bethesda has actually come out, and I think a lot of this happened because of what's going on at Xbox right now, but they've actually come out and released a studio roadmap for everything, including actually talking about Elder Scrolls 6 in like I feel like a more realistic timeline. So
that makes sense.
They put out an actual like press release noting all this stuff. So some of the crazier things that come out of it is that Starfield, they're not just putting a pin in Starfield. So they've said over 17 million players have logged into Starfield. As we enter year 3, we'll continue expanding the settled systems with new stories, targeted gameplay improvements, and additional updates, while preparing for the launch of new Starborn content next year. So that's so there's going to be another DLC for that game, which is crazy. I thought they'd be done with that game. So, obviously, we kind of knew that this was going to happen, because one of the biggest parts of this Xbox reset was, I think people higher up in that company stated, there hasn't been a new Fallout game since Fallout 76. It's been 8 years. This TV show is one of the hottest things out right now. Why isn't there a new game? So they're going all in on Fallout. Not really surprising. Obsidian is making a new Fallout game. We don't know what that is. A lot of the evidence is pointing towards Fallout New Orleans. That's been a lot of the evidence that people have been kind of digging up on that. And of course, they will be working on a Fallout 5 after Elder Scrolls 6. They did mention Elder Scrolls 6 is mentioned and talked about. They're estimating that Elder Scrolls 6 is playable in a playable state, that they're basically playing the game every day, kind of bug testing, doing those kind of things. Seems like I love to call it Skyrim 2 because I know that triggers people, but I could totally see them calling it. They're estimating that game's probably going to be out in another 2 years, and that seems realistic. So I'm just surprised. This is the most information Bethesda has kind of bumped out in a long time, updating pretty much everything that they're currently working on. So it was kind of cool to see that, instead of they're just, constantly silent. I did see that Todd Howard had commented on a Reddit post, and that just turned into a bunch of people asking them to fix the Oblivion remake, because the Oblivion remake is still super broken as shit. No response to that, by the way. The game is so broken. It's unfortunate, because I love Oblivion, but that game needs some patches. Apparently apparently Microsoft is internally testing an ad-supported tier for Game Pass.
That's so retarded.
So the understanding that I see is that it would be ads that would play before you play the game. It wouldn't interrupt the gameplay, but still, I'm not surprised.
Not at all.
I laughed about this. This is from today. Tomb Raider Catalyst, which is the other Tomb Raider game. So this is not the remake of the first Tomb Raider. This is the new game that will be coming out after that. Has been delayed into 2028. It's not surprising given that this Tomb Raider reboot, remake, whatever we're going to call it, was supposed to be out this fall. Got pushed until February of next year. So I'm not surprised they're going to push the other one back. But that's probably a pretty significant delay. So, not really surprising. And then the last thing that I want to talk about, and this will kind of lead us in, or actually, you know what? I'll save this as the last thing. We got two other things. Obviously, prices for everything are crazy right now. We just see console prices going up, every day. It seems like they're hiking the price up of these systems. Steam Deck fell casualty to this as well. Steam Deck, first of all, the Steam Deck model that I own is the non-OLED one. They don't even sell that version anymore. You can only get an OLED one now.
Okay.
Those prices went up significantly, and their sales have collapsed on that because of it. Which I imagine the Steam Machine just launched, and I'm sure it did well in its initial launch because you're always going to have the hardcore people buy that shit day one. But I imagine that the sales for that thing collapse after that because it is $1,200. So
$789 for a Steam Deck, though? That's crazy.
I paid I think for mine, not counting the dock, because the dock was an extra $80 at the time. I paid around I want to say it was $380. But again, I don't have the OLED one. I have the non-OLED, just regular LCD screen one. So that one was cheaper at the time. I think at the time the OLED one was $500. So
that's crazy.
They've gone up way too expensive for what that thing is. So I love the Steam Deck, but I can't recommend somebody go out and buy it now at that price.
What's wild is just when you said something about Steam Deck, I was looking at that article. And it said you can buy a used Steam Deck on eBay for $400, $500. So I decided to click on that link just to watch it. And they've got a Steam Deck on sale or not sale, currently in a bid right now for $155.
I would tell you that's very worth it for $155.
For $155, I'd buy it.
That thing holds and plays like you're holding a Game Gear.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I bought it, I didn't really use it that much. And then I've had a couple situations where I've gotten sick or had the flu or something where I don't want to do anything. I'm like, well, the Steam Deck's right next to my bed. And I've used it more in the last year than I think I did when I first got it. So hooking it up to a TV with the dock is not buying that initially. I thought that would be like having a Switch, but it's a lot more cumbersome than just plugging it directly into this thing. The Switch, you just plop it in the dock. Hey, it's on the TV. It's not like that with the Steam Deck.
No, not at all.
So that's the one thing I'd say that's kind of a bummer about that system. So, Sony still can't escape ending the physical PlayStation 5 discs. Every comment on anything that they post is all about that. The most recent was they posted the new Resident Evil movie trailer on their YouTube channel, and that is all just nothing but comments about PlayStation ending physical discs.
That's wild.
Is every single thing that they post, everything that they do, it's all about that right now. It's insane. I'm going to save this last news article for when we talk about movie stuff because it's more of a movie thing. You'll get it why when we get there. Game recommendation for the week. I'm going with Control Ultimate Edition. I think if you've never played Control, it is a tremendous game. I think now replaying Alan Wake 2, I can answer definitively. I think I like Control more than Alan Wake.
That makes sense.
I like both. You can't go wrong playing either game, but Alan Wake is definitely more survival horror game. Control is more action focused, but there are definitely horror and just horror elements and just overall weird stuff going on in Control. So, I always use the comparison. Control is very much the X-Files. Alan Wake is very much Twin Peaks. That's the easiest way I could say it. So they do cross over with each other, which is really cool. But I think Control I just dig more than Alan Wake. But tremendous game. That Ultimate Edition, if you don't already have it in your Plus library or on Xbox, because I know they've given it away for free on both platforms at some point. It's always on sale for a really cheap price. I've seen it as low as like $6-7 so on Steam before. So definitely worth it wherever you want to play something. I've actually read that game runs pretty well on a Steam Deck too, which is crazy.
I can believe it.
So, well, I just go back to again playing it on an Xbox One. Like, wasn't a great experience. What about you? What's your game recommendation for the week?
I will say the Hong Kong Massacre. If you haven't played that, go ahead and snag it. It is right now on Steam for the Hong Kong Massacre.
I think even its normal price. Okay, $20. That's higher than I thought.
$20 ain't bad.
I swear I bought it for like $3, $4, somewhere around there.
Well, and the reason I went ahead and bought it was because it was pretty cheap when I actually got it, and I was like, "Oh, that's actually not a bad idea." To get that game right now, especially just at the price, because like I said, it was at. I'm trying to find my Steam thing.
You recently purchased it too, right?
Yeah, because I bought it with because I bought it with Ravenous Devils too. Like both games were pretty cheap when I grabbed it, and I was
I think the Steam summer sale just ended like last week.
Yeah,
so it probably was part of that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, all in all, I mean, not a bad price. You put it on your wish list if you get any of those, and it'll drop. Because like I said, I bought it because it dropped relatively cheap. So I was like, oh, you know what? This looks like freaking Hotline Miami. I was like, oh, I love that game. That game was fantastic. So that's why I snagged it. But it's been a lot of fun. Like, I definitely say give it a chance.
We can kick over to the movies and TV. There's got a lot more to talk about with that, honestly.
Yeah, we do.
Sometimes it's just how it goes. Sometimes you get a lot more of that stuff done and watched.
I bought it for $2.69.
Okay.
$2.69.
It had to have been pretty cheap.
87% off when I decided.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Not at all. Not at all.
So I got movies. I got TV shows. There were a lot of for whatever reason. I guess isn't Comic-Con somewhere going on right now? That's probably why we're getting so many trailers.
Comic-Con is currently going on, I believe.
Okay, that's probably why we're getting so many movie trailers right now.
Yeah, my friend told me that what was it? Mattel just released some new figure pictures, and he was telling me about it right there. Yeah, so Comic-Con ends on Sunday. So that's why we have so much stuff coming out right now. Yes.
We'll kick it off. You watch this as well. The Backrooms. The Backrooms hit digital. I've been waiting to see it. I really liked it.
I did not like it.
I was gonna say, you and I were talking before the show. You did not care for it. I liked it. I 100% as I watched it, because I going into it, I knew it was a movie that was kind of divisive. A lot of people either love it, a lot of people either hate it. I 100% understand why someone would walk out of this not liking it. I think that the story of it is well done and told well enough, and especially like, again, this is in the same vein as like we had that Obsession movie this year. This is another younger. This guy's younger too, isn't he? He's only 20, I think. The guy that
the director of Backrooms
directed this. I want to say he's only like 20, maybe 21.
Yeah,
he's younger than the guy that did. He's younger than the guy that did Obsession. I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't know it watching the movie. Like, it's very well done. Like, from
21.
That, okay.
He's
like
21.
Going and watching the movie, you would not ever know that this was directed by a 21-year-old person.
No.
Like, it really doesn't seem like that at all.
Yeah.
And I do think that the movie's very well acted. My biggest problems with it is it does a really good job of setting up the atmosphere and the weirdness of the Backrooms. The set designs, like you and I were talking about ahead of time, like the set designs are crazy in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were a lot of times where I'd say, because I watched this movie, my wife, she was interested in it, and there were a lot of times that we would ask each other, like, how did they do this?
Yeah.
Did they build these things? So like how did they build some of this stuff out and frame it in such a way? Because my understanding is most of the movie is practical.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. So yes, I wasn't a fan of the movie. I definitely have no problem saying that. There were aspects of the movie I really did enjoy, and it kept me invested. For me, I think the overall story didn't do it for me. I don't think I was okay with the story of it. I think that was kind of like blah. But like, while I didn't like the story, the actors in the movie did a great job. Like, I can definitely say that and not feel bad on saying that. So like, just the two essentially, I call them the two main characters, but they really are. I think they did a great job with the roles they were given. I just didn't really care for it. Like,
see, I enjoyed it, but it reminded me more. The meme that was going around when this movie came out, and I 100% agree with it, was rest in peace, David Lynch. You would have loved the Backrooms, and like, I 100% agree. Like, there's a lot of that in this movie. There's the weird scene where that guy is sitting at the table with some of those other copies of people that like live in the Backrooms, and like,
yeah,
the way that they created that looks crazy. How those people look and move, and like, it's weird and unsettling in I think the right ways. But there are parts of the story that are weird and kind of flawed in the terms of like, this character, discovers this area, goes into it, and then next thing is like, he gets trapped in there, but then he just kind of likes to live there. And I think a lot of it has to do with he's a guy that's going through a divorce, or I don't know if they ever said, was he actually in a divorce or they were just split up. I can't remember if they actually said.
I don't think they ever actually said divorce. And the main thing he had a biggest problem with was he got kicked out of his house.
Okay.
That's what one of the biggest things about it was.
He runs he's somebody that wanted to be an architect, and I guess either that didn't work out or he's between that. I don't think they ever explained exactly what happened for him as an architect.
No.
If they did, I missed that.
No, I don't remember them saying that at all.
Yeah, I don't think that they ever said that, but he is running a furniture store. I believe he owns it, because I think that's a big part of it. But then when he is separated from his wife, he basically lives in the furniture store at night. They do a good job of revealing that, because he's like watching TV, and then when they pan out, it's like, oh, this dude just lives in this furniture store at night. I get it.
I mean, I would too. Yeah. Like, if I owned a furniture store, shit. Okay.
And he kind of just like discovers the Backrooms in kind of a weird way. Like, he at the beginning of the movie, he has a electrician come in because he's trying to figure out at night, like, the lights in the place are acting kind of weird. And then the electrician goes and is looking at the panel, and they discover this like weird set of switches that are like put in an odd place. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, when you look at it.
So the reason that he gets the electrician, and I remember this specifically, is apparently his power bill keeps getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
And the electrician's like, your meter is fine. Like, I don't understand what your problem is. You're just utilizing all this power. And that's when he's like, well, you got to look at the breaker box because we keep having surges and I don't understand why. And then that's when he comes out, and that's when they see that random ass switch at the very bottom of the panel that's like diagonally installed. And he's just like, well, what's this switch do? Or the electrician's like, who the hell set this up for you? Like, what is this? You know?
Yeah, it's like it's weird when he has it. When they're looking at that, because it's like you look at the control panel and it has all the switches like a control panel normally would, and then all of a sudden underneath it, it's like this weird, like off to the side almost like red switch of like two switches. It doesn't make any sense. Like you would never put something like that there.
It reminds me of like old houses, and like the first house I owned had this. It had like a random light switches in places.
Yeah.
They literally controlled nothing. Like I flicked them off and on, and nothing in my house moved. And I was like, "What does this do?" So yeah, that's how it worked. But
and then like I said, like throughout the night, he then sees like the glow of this area that's in the wall. And it basically, you just walk through the wall, which is like one of the parts of the movie. I guess it's kind of weird, but it's one of those things. I don't know. I looked at this movie. I looked at the abstract nature of it and how it sets up the atmosphere, at least at the beginning. And I just kind of went with it. So I'm like, all right, I get it. And I can understand, like the biggest complaint I have is like, for as cool as it sets this stuff up, like in his, like the best part of the movie for me is the initial, like, him going into the back rooms and just kind of exploring and looking around and trying to figure out what's going on. It's probably the best. And that's like a good 20-ish minutes of that movie is that initial part of him looking around the back rooms. That's probably, I think, the strongest part of this entire movie. The problem is once you get to kind of the third act of it, and he's basically, because basically what happens is like, he starts becoming obsessed with it, obsessed with mapping out the backrooms because, again, he's an architect. So he's excited about it, I guess, in that way. He goes and then he has a therapist that's helping him kind of like through all of his, I guess, divorce, breakup, that whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah.
And he goes to her at one point and starts talking to her about the stuff, and she just thinks he's crazy.
Yeah.
And then he disappears into the back rooms with these other two. I think it's an employee of his and then her boyfriend. And they basically like they do a little exploring a little bit too far. And it's clear that there's like a creature or something in here that ends up killing two of them. By the way, we're just going to spoil this movie because I think at this point, like most of the world's seen it already.
Yeah.
So spoilers ahead, but this thing ends up killing the both of them, and then he gets trapped in the back rooms, but then he kind of just accepts it. So the therapist, after like a week not hearing from this guy, goes and kind of stumbles into the store and figures out what's going on and gets in there.
Yeah.
And then discovers her, and then he ends up knocking her out and then bringing her in. That's where you have that weird like dinner scene with him and some of these other copies of people that live in the back rooms. They just don't look right. That's where a lot of the David Lynch like influences definitely come in the movie. My biggest issue with it is like all of this stuff up until that point, I think is fantastic. It then just becomes kind of a creature feature in the third act.
Yeah.
Where you have, Pirate Clark, which is all practical, by the way. That's played by the actor that played that weird creature at the end of Alien Romulus. Mm-hmm. If you've ever seen that. So it's an actual actor in a suit. It's not CG. And it just becomes like a creature feature where that thing's chasing the therapist. And it leads to kind of a weird ending where she ends up getting out only by people that knock her out with like gas because they're not getting the creature out. And then she's pulled out, and it's in this movie, there are scenes where they have Mark Duplass's character, and he's like somebody that's doing research for the back rooms. Like his company does research. His company used to make MRI machines. Yeah. And somehow in the making of MRI machines, they discovered the back rooms, and now they are just kind of like a secret government company that is trying to understand the back rooms.
Their MRI making machine is what he said. He's like, we make MRIs. And I was like, what? Like, how did we get here?
Yeah, it was a little weird. I don't know. I just felt that was probably my big downfall with the movie is like the third act just kind of peters it out because I felt like it just didn't know where it was going to go at that point. So I still really liked it. Like I walked away from it enjoying it and liking the abstract and atmosphere that it creates. But I also can recognize at the same time why someone would not like it because it does leave a lot more to be desired at the end of it.
Yeah.
So,
and like I said, I mean, I didn't really mind a lot of the movie. Like, I watched the entire thing, and still to this day, Bone Lake is the worst movie I've watched. But no, like, I didn't mind it. I just didn't care for the story of it. Like, I just thought the story was kind of just not what I was hoping it was. But like, as far as everybody who did everything in the movie between set designs and the actors in it, I think they all did a great job.
It's worth it just for the set designs and the atmosphere that they create.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the actual set designs for when you're in the back rooms, it's fantastic.
You know, the thing that I noticed about the movie too, because I thought it was going to go for this, or I thought it was going to play off of this as like some sort of kind of commentary, is if while you're watching the movie, if you notice like the sky boxes in like the normal world kind of look like they're in the back rooms as well there. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. I was watching the movie again. I'm sure that was intentional, but it also makes you question like, well, what is real in this movie kind of a thing. But I thought that was cool as well. But like they clearly nailed like color scheme, color pattern, set design, like all of that stuff is nailed really, really well. And I think, well, I maybe not like Obsession, obviously, I think should be recognized at the end of year Oscar wise for that performance. I think this movie, I hope, is recognized for things like set design and cinematography and stuff like that. Because I not necessarily will it win, but I think it's definitely worth talking about and showing, especially from a director that young. So
for definite sure. I definitely agree with you.
Well, and they're talking about doing a sequel to this. I'm like, I don't necessarily want a sequel to this. I'd be more interested to see what that guy would do next. So, but I don't know. Like I said, we both landed on different sides on this one, but I liked it. I would recommend it, but I understand why someone wouldn't. I watched Masters of the Universe because they shockingly just kind of threw that on Prime the other day, and we're just like, hey, it's up for anybody that wants to watch it. I hated it. I took this picture while I was watching the movie, and I sent it to my buddies, and I was like, I can sum up for you in one photo everything you need to know about Masters of the Universe. And the photo will explain to you why you probably wouldn't like Masters of the Universe. And it's this photo. It's probably not going to come through really well on here, but it's a photo of Skeletor standing in an office holding a cup of coffee. And that was that movie is a tonal mess. And it reminded me of kind of like the early 2010s and the late 2000s where they were making a lot of this type of movie on old properties from the 80s where they're like, well, let's just turn it into a comedy. And a lot of the movie is that, but then it's also like when that movie starts, it's super serious. They kind of explain what's going on, the backstory of He-Man and everything. I'm like, oh, okay, like I get what's going on here. And then it flips you into present day with him, and he's kind of a fucking loser in real life. And he's working a dead-end HR job. And it just becomes joke after joke after joke, and it's too much. And you have like whiplash watching it because then it's like back to serious, back to not serious. I found it incredibly boring as I watched it. This movie is almost 2.5 hours long. It's way too long.
Yeah.
Nobody should be making a 2.5 hour He-Man movie. I don't know whose decision that was. I thought going into this movie that I would hate Jared Leto because I'm not a big Jared Leto guy. He is not the problem with this movie, but I also think it does him well that you wouldn't know it's Jared Leto because you cannot tell from him in the probably AI generated like outfit and suit that he has on. And his performance, he doesn't sound like Jared Leto. I actually like, as much as I hated this movie and didn't like it, I actually thought his performance was pretty good.
I told you he was fantastic in this movie.
But it also, and that's the other thing. If you were to tell me that they used AI generated assets for this movie, I would believe you because it looks weird as hell. Like as you're watching, it looks clearly AI generated at times. But I found no reason to care about this as I was watching, and I was actively bored watching it. So I think I gave it like a 4. I did not care for it at all. I understand why it bombed.
Yeah, agreed.
And I predicted it before because I said I don't think there's a large enough fan base for people that love He-Man that are going to go see this movie to make the money that they would need to make it successful. Clearly not. So, man, there's like I can run through TV stuff really quick. So I don't know how much I've talked about on the show. I know I've talked to it with Dan and some other people outside of here, but that Cape Fear show is fucking garbage on Apple. Actively, I will go ahead and go down on record right now and say it is the worst thing that is on TV this decade. Like there's nothing worse than it on TV this decade. It is that bad. These people make just insane illogical decisions. Like have you ever seen anything Cape Fear?
I don't think
the original movie with De Niro or
Nope.
the 60s movie with I think it's Gregory Peck.
No.
Okay. So the general setup for that is guy's a lawyer. The criminal that he is defending, he finds evidence that will exonerate this person from the crime that they committed, even though he knows that this person committed this heinous crime. This would get him out of being like going to jail for it, and he withholds it. Because in good conscience, he doesn't want this person on the streets, right? That's the general premise. So this guy goes to jail for, it varies between versions, but let's say 20 years would be the average. Goes away for 20 years, finds a way to get out, and then starts harassing this person's family 20 years later. Okay. Key point to note is that's it. That's the basic setup. It is one lawyer and the convict. That's it. This Apple version has changed it to like way too much. So it is the convict versus a husband and wife that are both lawyers, but during the time of the trial, the husband was the defender of the convict and the wife was the prosecutor. They have a relationship during the trial, which again, this is all super like you can't do this, right? They have a relationship through the trial and together lie about it to put this guy away.
Wow. Okay.
Which I'm not even put down about that twist. Like, whatever. Everything after it is so preposterous. These people, like, they know that this dude is bad. They know that this dude is out to get them. They know that his whole purpose after getting out of jail is to just fuck with them. And yet they keep going back for more. They keep putting themselves in dumb situations where it's like, oh, okay. Like there's, for an example, like the husband's out at a bar. Oh, the convict shows up. Hey, you know what? Why don't you have a couple drinks with me? Oh, okay, sure. They constantly let their guards down.
Like,
and
why?
Then this dude will get drunk and then, oh no, all of a sudden he took, got some voice of him and uses an AI generated thing to then turn it over to this guy's boss at his firm to say he's sexually harassing someone to get him suspended. Like it's stuff like that. But then they keep going back. And it's like, why are you doing like no one would do this? Like it's so they make illogical decisions like that. Okay. In this other most recent like set of episodes, and I like the other night, this was last week, Friday. I had to catch up on 3 episodes of this. After 2 of them, I had to stop because I hated it so much. I'm like, I'm going to rewatch this original fucking movie because I cannot remember and I have to know if it's this preposterous. It's not. What I just told you is 100% that story. That's it. It's still a rough fucking movie, by the way. 30 years, almost 40 years later, that movie is still pretty harsh. In this show now, it is revealed that they have 2 the lawyer couple, they have 2 children, right? Now it was confirmed in one of the episodes, well, actually the convict might be the father of this kid. And then the mother tells the daughter, who would be maybe the daughter, well, and I'm paraphrasing, but she's like, well, I had a lot of problems during that trial. I was pretty loose. So I slept with a lot of people. It is possible he could be your father. I never took a DNA test because I don't want to know. Like it's just stuff like that. I'm just like, who's fucking writing this? This is also the same show where I told you the son has a girlfriend, right? That he's meeting up and hooking up with. And then it's revealed that is this convict guy's other daughter. And then that daughter then ends up sleeping with the fucking daughter. So she is banging both of their kids and then makes a comment to the mother about it. And it's just like one of the most heinous things I've heard on TV. Like, it's awful. The show is garbage. And I just read the other day, they're thinking about doing another season. I'm like, how do you stretch this out? In the original movie, literally one or two things happen and that family packs it up and goes to their lake house for the weekend to get away from this guy. I'm 8 hours into this 10 episode thing and they have yet to go to their fucking lake house and get away from this guy. He's moved into them across the street. He's across the street from these people fucking with them, hanging out with their cat. He's now friends with their cat. It is awful. Like, it is one of the worst shows that I've ever seen. I'm committed to finishing this first season and I'll never watch it again.
Okay.
Oh my God. Well, I ended up keeping my Apple Plus. Like, I ran out of the trial and I'm like, well, I'll watch, I want to finish Cape Fear. So that's the only reason. I have another month, but I'm like, when that's over, I'm probably going to be done with Apple. Like, I hate this show. King of the Hill came back. Let's talk about something positive. King of the Hill is back. The 15th season. I have watched it in its entirety. I watched it all Monday night. Mm-hmm. I am halfway through rewatching it again with my wife. It is tremendous. It is the best. I mean, it's hard for me to say it's the best because they've only done 2 seasons since it's come back, but somehow it's better than the last season. And it's awesome because they actually, in the last episode, they not only set it up for what's going to come, because they've committed to doing 2 more seasons. It's been massively successful. Okay. They've not only set up for what's going to come in the next season, but they also gave and explained the backstory of what happened in the 10/12 years the show was off to get them from, hey, why did they go over to Saudi Arabia for 10 years and work for a propane company over there? Why did they come back? What happened with Bobby, their son, during this time? Like, they give all those answers in the last episode, which is really cool. I haven't laughed this hard at anything this year. Like, it's just, there's so many things. I was telling my wife, like, there's a scene with Hank and his son where Hank is going over with him. His son's about to take a trip with his buddy down to Mexico. And he's like, well, Bobby, have you done this? Have you done that? You need to make a list before you go on vacation. I make a list every time I go on vacation and go down. Like, it's literally a conversation I've had with my dad. It's like, I ended up just laughing. I'm like, I've literally had this conversation with my dad this year. So it's stuff like that. It's so smartly and cleverly written. They haven't missed a beat. It's like this show wasn't off for 15 years. So tremendous. I can't recommend it enough. Because of Control, I've decided to start rewatching the X-Files from the beginning. Mm-hmm. We talked about it because I learned that you've never seen the X-Files.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Crazy.
Wild. But
highly worth it. I think I was telling you, like, the first time. So, like, I also did not grow up watching the X-Files when it was on. I saw one episode as a kid. I always remember it because I was probably, I wouldn't say I was too young, but I probably shouldn't have seen it. My uncle came to stay with us, and that was at a time where, like, sometimes you didn't have, like you could record stuff, but if you didn't have a VCR, you couldn't record stuff when you're on vacation. And so he was very animate when he stayed with us. I got to watch the X-Files Sunday night. So as the one and only episode I ever watched was about some crazy, weird alien that was, like, popping out of people's skin. And it always stuck with me because it was, like, crazy shit to see as a kid.
Yeah.
But I never watched the show growing up other than that. And then, like 2006-ish, when I had Netflix discs, before Netflix was streaming, that's how I watched the original show. I got all the DVD discs and watched them from Netflix. That's how my original watch of back when I first met my now wife, one of the first shows we watched together, I rewatched it with her. This would have been about 10, 11-ish years ago. So I haven't seen it in a long time. Playing Control, like I said, Control is more of the X-Files and Alan Wake is more Twin Peaks, it reminded me how good the X-Files is. So I was like, you know, it's been a decade. We are going to get that reboot probably next year that Ryan Coogler guy is working on, that I'm interested to see what they can do. And again, I will 100% tell you, the X-Files is a great show. It's uneven. It has issues at certain points. There's a part where David Duchovny leaves that show for a while, and they bring in the guy that played T-1000. He's Robert Patrick. He's fine, but like the show's never really great with him as like a change for character. The other thing that's really cool about that show, those early seasons, like that show is at its best when it's Monster of the Week, because that's kind of how the show goes. Is like there is an overall like arcing story that is about an potential alien invasion, and that's usually like the first couple episodes and the end episodes of each season are usually about that overall alien conspiracy. And then it gets into this pattern of like Monster of the Week type episodes. Like, hey, I pulled this X-File out of this bin. There's this crazy shit going on in this part of the country. We're going to go check it out, kind of a thing. Those are the best parts of the X-Files. The other thing that's really cool about those early seasons is that the early seasons were filmed in Canada from like, I want to say that either the first 4 or 5 seasons. And then because David Duchovny became so popular and he was doing other things as an actor, they had to move filming that show to LA. So you can tell as you watch the show, when it gets to those episodes, the backgrounds and stuff, they're a lot brighter because they're in LA instead of like the Canadian wilderness for a lot of stuff. So it loses some of that feeling as you're watching it, I think.
Okay.
When they brought that show back in 2016 and 2017 for those 2 like little mini seasons, I think they're like 6 episodes apiece, which again, the Monster of the Week episodes are the best parts of those. And they're really good. They're some of the best X-Files. The other parts of it are not very great. They went back and filmed those episodes in Canada again. So they retain that kind of like feel. That show is tremendous. I highly recommend it. Again, just the Monster of the Week episodes alone, like those are fantastic. I'm only like, I think I've watched like 7 or 8 of the episodes of the first season now. So also, I highly recommend that show. If anybody watching has never seen the X-Files, it's an amazing show.
Yeah, I'm going to try to start watching it.
It's on Hulu. I think they did put it on Tubi as well. I'm watching it on Hulu. So I've been talking to Eric, that's been on the show in the past. We've been talking about like watching that Blu-ray box set hit a certain point. Like I might buy that just to have the whole thing, because you can get the whole, like all of it now, including the newer stuff. So,
okay.
And a Blu-ray box set's
deal.
$250. So little out of my price range, about half that price. I might be okay to do that. And then man, like, so there's been a lot of movie trailers because Comic-Con's going on right now. We got a new Clayface trailer. I don't know if you saw that one yet.
I haven't watched it yet.
Clayface looks awesome, but like I've been talking to Dan about it because I'm like, man, you're going to take your kids to see Spider-Man. If they play this Clayface trailer in front of that movie, it's kind of messed up. Like there is a scene where he's on a plane, and this is after he's been injected with the stuff, and his eyes are going crazy, and he goes into the bathroom. He's clearly going to take scissors and cut his eyelids. And like they don't show it in the trailer, obviously, but like that's enough that like that's going to fuck kids' minds if they see that in the movie trailer. That movie looks like body horror off the charts. It looks awesome. I'm really excited to see it. I do think obviously Supergirl was the last DCU movie, and I think it was too similar in tone to Superman that either you knew what you wanted. If you saw Superman last year and you like that tone, probably going to like Supergirl. But I think there is a lot of the audience that didn't like that tone.
Yeah.
I think Clayface is going to be a lot more successful.
Okay.
So it just looks crazy. If you haven't seen it, you should watch that trailer.
I'm going to watch it after we get done with this.
It looks wild. There was the Avengers trailer.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything for me. Like I watched it twice. I just don't feel any hype for that movie. like I don't know, and maybe it's because they had a great roadmap for the first like all the Thanos stuff leading up to that. There isn't that this time because they had to pull in Doctor Doom instead of Kang and do that. So there was not really a huge buildup outside of that Fantastic Four movie. And then also, I think like there is one shot in that trailer where they're showing all those people standing in that room, and it's very clear that they edited somebody out.
Yeah,
because you could tell looking at it, like somebody's here that they're not showing. But even just looking at like the team in this movie, and again, I think they're holding a lot of things back that they're not showing. But like the setup for who's in this movie, I don't know, man. A lot of what I would call weaker heroes. So I do think that like the beginning of the trailer is very clearly Robert Downey Jr., Dr. Doom talking. He sounds good. He looks cool. If he's in that suit the whole time, that's awesome. But it feels more like an obligation to me at this point.
I watched the trailer twice too, and I will say there's only one thing that got me really excited in it that could probably warrant me watching this movie.
Gambit
and Shang-Chi actually start fighting.
Okay.
That is cool. Because Gambit's always been one of my favorite X-Men, and I really enjoyed Shang-Chi movie and that whole thing. So it's like, when I saw that, I was like, that might be the only reason I go see that movie. Like, legitimately. Just because I know that those two are in it and they have, like, a sequence together. I was like, yeah, you might have sold me just to go watch that movie just for that one.
Oh, I'm sure at the end of the day, like, we'll go to see it. It's just, I came out of that trailer, like, it just was a shoulder shrug for me where I'm like, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it really just is like, meh. Like, okay, I see what you're doing, but then it's just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like superhero fatigue is definitely real, man. Like,
it's real.
Like, I just don't, I'm not hyped. I'm not as hyped to go see that Avengers. Like, I like Spider-Man. I definitely want to see Tom Holland.
Really hyped for Spider-Man. But I also think that they've done a great job marketing that movie and not spoiling the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And I guess you could, in some ways, you could say the same about this Avengers movie because I have no idea what's going on. And that's not a bad thing. But Spider-Man, I at least have a feel for it and have hype for it in a way that I just don't see it for this Avengers movie. Like, as I watched that trailer, I felt very calloused. Like, cool, Dr. Doom's here. We've had zero build up to him other than he was at the end of the Fantastic Four movie, probably stealing that kid. Like, that's pretty much it.
I've heard different people talking, like, breaking down the trailer and all that stuff. And from what people are saying, they're saying that, Doom is supposed to be good in the beginning. So, like, when the whole point behind that last scene in Fantastic Four is not necessarily Doom being bad, but Doom telling them something's wrong.
Yeah.
And then, leading into this movie and stuff like that. So, I mean, I understand where they're going with this. I'm not exactly excited to see this one at all.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of been the same way. The one thing that I could not escape last weekend, as far as like trailer stuff, this other mommy movie.
Dude.
So the only thing I heard all last weekend was I saw a bunch of like TikTok reels and stuff of like, man, that fucking trailer for that other mommy movie in front of the Odyssey is crazy. Wow. So I was waiting all weekend for them to put this trailer up, and it delivered.
That movie looks fantastic.
Now that has me hyped.
Dude, you sent me that and you were like, you need to check this out. And after I watched it, I sent it to like 3 or 4 other people and they were all like, what the fuck is that movie about?
Exactly. Like, talk about like perfect marketing, perfect way to get you hyped for a horror movie.
Great job.
Just a shot of that, just a shot of Jessica Chastain like under that table. It's like, what in fuck
because
is this
the way
movie?
It starts off, I was like,
is it in this little girl's head? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then as soon as she's like, trying to make her macaroni on the stove and she's like, remember when we were together in your heart? And as soon as that little girl looked at her and she was like, you said you wouldn't leave my room. I was like, What? Wait a minute. What is happening? And then like the dad came in, and then you saw that one clip of Jessica under that table. I was like, dude, I don't even know what's happening in this movie, and I'm excited to hear more about this as it goes on.
Exactly, like it's a tremendous trailer.
Yeah,
and I am very excited.
They did that very well, very well,
very well.
Yeah.
Did you see the Ebenezer trailer with Johnny Depp?
I did not.
Okay, Johnny Depp's
I'll
back.
Watch it.
Okay, Johnny Depp's back. He it's weird because the guy directing that Ebenezer movie is Ty West, the guy that did X and Maxine and those. But this isn't like that. This seems more like a Tim Burton-ish version. Okay. It's very much got comedy going on. Johnny Depp just looks like he's having the time of his life in it. All the comments, I laugh because I was like, I watched it and I'm like, yeah, my wife, huge Johnny Depp fan, will go and see it. And I watched the trailer and I was like, I'm curious to see what people think. And the comments are just overwhelming. Like, I'm just happy he's making movies again. So yeah. I think it looks good. I watched the trailers. That's something. It's out in November. It is exactly what you think it is. It's a Scrooge movie with him playing Ebenezer Scrooge. So, but he just looks like he's having a ball playing the character, and it looks good. There's a fun nod in that trailer it's towards the end of it, to his death in Nightmare on Elm Street, where he gets sucked in the bed.
Oh,
they do the same thing in this movie, and it's pretty good. I like that. So
I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw that scene in a movie, that was freaky as hell.
That shit is wild, yeah. Like, especially to see that at that time.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Crazy. I think is that all the trailers that came out? I mean, well, okay. So we got one other big one we'll talk about. They did also, I'll mention it briefly. They put out, after they delayed the Batman Part 2 to February of 2028, they did put out that 30-second camera test thing with him turning his head. I could put that on loop all day, but I'm crazy. So, Resident Evil. So they put out the full trailer for the Resident Evil movie. I think it was yesterday. They have now made confirmations. The movie is not set in the 90s. It is set in present day. So it is, and I do think now seeing, because when the trailer came out, clearly in the trailer, he's talking on a cell phone to his girlfriend. And that was immediately, I threw up my hands at the time. I'm like, what is fucking happening with this movie? That director, that Zach Krager guy, has come out now and just explained, like, this is how he's approaching the movie. Well, it is the start of the Raccoon City outbreak. It's not connected to the games. He wanted to make his own story with the elements and ideas of survival horror and Resident Evil and what he thinks is important. I'm not necessarily put down on it. But like, the fandom is all over the place for this. So I actually saw an article, and this is not going to help this movie, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because it's the age-old article of Resident Evil, and we're talking about the movie specifically. Resident Evil movie doesn't have a Zach Krager problem; it has a fan problem. So we're getting to that point where we're now going to start pushing back on the fans of Resident Evil. Is the fans are the problem, and that never goes well. That never goes well.
I mean, let's be real though. Resident Evil is a zombie game. There is a specific story to Resident Evil. And if you're going to remake a movie titled Resident Evil, what would you expect the fans to not want?
I think there's two camps, because I think there are people that want to see classic Resident Evil characters in this movie, like Leon, Jill, Chris, and so on. And they're not in this movie. This movie is literally starring characters that were not in any of the games. It's its own thing. And I don't necessarily watching it and everything. Well, there's part of me that's like, well, maybe you could have a cameo, like this guy you're following runs into Chris or runs into Leon or something during the outbreak. But now the movie's not even set in the 90s. It's set in the present day. So it's clearly they're not going to do that. I do think that they're also like clearly not showing a lot of things that might be surprises in this movie. So maybe there is more in it that we just don't know.
I will go after watching the trailer, because I did see the trailer for this. I will watch it.
Oh, I'm going to go.
And I will think of myself when I'm watching this as it's not a Resident Evil movie.
It's funny because in that same interview I saw with that director, he said that when apparently he went to Sony and approached them to make this movie. And he had told them, I've never seen any of the movies, which is the Milla Jovovich movies, but I've played the games. So he wanted to make the movie from the perspective of the games, which I admire and I appreciate
it. Yeah.
I like the Milla Jovovich movies, but I'm a crazy person. But I understand how he's approaching the movie, and
I think a crazy person for liking those Milla Jovovich.
Not all of them are good, but I enjoyed those movies for what they are. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's part of me that really wanted to see Wesker run around, but that's not going to happen in this movie, I don't think. But I am still very much intrigued and interested in this movie from the angle of, well, what is he going to do? Like, am I going to walk out of it being super disappointed, or actually like the movie as a movie? And I think I will walk out of it probably saying, hey, that was a really good horror movie. I don't necessarily think it was Resident Evil. So, but I am going to go. I'm still a Resident Evil fan. So
yeah, for sure.
But I always laugh every time I see when we're starting to attack the fans. Like, the fans are the problem. Like, no,
we're not the problem, man. We just want to see.
Problem.
Don't call it Resident Evil. Call it something else.
The evil residents.
Yeah, you could have named it anything. You could have named it,
Well, that's what I said. Like, the only thing in this, like in the first trailer, there wasn't anything that I could point to be like, that's Resident Evil. In this trailer, there is a line at the end where the lady that gives the guy whatever he's transporting, the organ or whatever, he does say, like, where am I taking this? Raccoon City.
Raccoon
so that's
City,
the one thing, like, that they've said, like, okay, Raccoon City is the city in Resident Evil. So, but I mean, I'm still going to see it. I'm still like I oddly have more excitement for that than Avengers. So
that makes sense. I totally understand.
What about you? What have you been watching?
So I watched 2 more movies this week. One called Empire Waste.
Okay.
This is a movie that came out in 2024. It is, I guess you could say, like a coming of age movie type thing.
Okay.
So like the basis behind it is this girl is quiet, kind of a loner, whatnot like that. And she gets paired with this other girl in her science class. They're paired to do a project together. Well, one girl that's the loner, and the other girl that she meets, the other girl is more loud and like, outgoing than her character is. So when they get together and they link up, the loud and outgoing character, she finds out that the loner girl is a designer. Like, she designs clothes. That's what she does. She's got an entire closet full of clothes that she's designed, just been working on. So at that point, that's where their friendship starts. And the loner girl, is trying to come out of her bubble to do things, and she signs up to be part of this fashion show for like this school of design and stuff like that. The biggest thing about this movie is that the main character and her best friend are heavier set people. So, of course, they're being picked on throughout the entire movie by the popular girl. It's the normal shit that you see in movies like this.
Yeah.
Rainn Wilson is in it. And I don't know if you know who Missy Pyle is.
I don't know who that is. I know who Rainn Wilson is.
Missy Pyle, like, while you don't know her name, you'll know her face. Like, if you look her up, you'll instantly go, oh, she's played in a ton of different shit.
Okay.
Like, it's not even funny. I like the amount of stuff she's played in. But I saw a clip of her and Rainn Wilson, and that's what got me into this show. I thought the movie was actually pretty good. I think the lesson behind the movie is solid. Essentially, don't let people talk you down, and do what you want to do if you actually want to do it. It's essentially what it is. I think the two girls who played the kids, one's name is Mia Kaplan. The other one, I know I'm probably going to butcher this, but I think it's Jamia Yivu. I think those two girls played really well together. I think the dynamic of those two were fantastic. I will definitely say, if you're into this kind of film, definitely give it a shot. It's on Stars. That's where I saw it. And I don't know about you, but like, you could start a Stars membership for 99 cents.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's for 99 cents, one movie. It's worth it. Like, legitimately. Like, I don't see the problem in this. And then after I watched that, I'd give that movie like a 6. I think it was done really well. I think those girls did fantastic. I'm going to call this the 90s movie of the week.
Hell yeah.
Because apparently this is what I keep running down.
90s movies are fucking crazy. Like, especially that you're on the kick of like made for TV, like 90s movies, the shit that they got away with.
The fact that it's made for TV movies.
Exactly.
And it's like, are you serious? So, this movie is called Lying Eyes. It's on Tubi. It's available. Came out in 1996, December of 96. The main character is a 17-year-old high school senior. And she is like part of the dance team. So the opening starts with her dancing with her squad. And she starts to get looked at by a 30-year-old lawyer. Well, this 30-year-old lawyer essentially starts kind of like stalking her. So like
just to back it up for a second, how does he discover her? Like, is there
he goes to the high school. Like, the high school is having a game, and that's where she dances at. And he just goes back to the high school to watch those high school games. Okay. So he sees her as she's dancing, and he decides, okay, I like her. That's what I'm going to chase after. So he ends up rear-ending her at a stoplight so he can get her to stop. And so she gets out of the car and she's like, shit, my mom's going to kill me, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, hey, so sorry. I was on my phone. Wasn't paying attention. My apologies. Here's my card. Listen to the words coming out. Here's my card. I'll take care of everything. Don't exchange anything else. She's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'll take care of it. Don't you worry. He's like, I'm a big time lawyer. Essentially, I got a guy who runs a car shop. He owes me a favor. I'll take care of it. Just give me a call and we'll go from there. So then she's like, okay, fine. So she, makes a call, takes her car to the shop. Ironically, the guy is at the shop because he's getting work done on his car, and they stumble across each other and they start talking to each other. And he asks her out to dinner, and she's like, oh, I don't know. Okay, I guess we can go to dinner. And that's where it starts. 17-year-old girl, 30-year-old lawyer. And he invites her to the beach house, and he's like whispering nothings into her ear. So, of course, she, sleeps with him. And she's talking to her friends, and she's like, hey, I met this really nice guy. And they're like, oh, where'd you meet him? And she's like, well, he's a little more mature than I am. And they're like, what do you mean by that? And she's like, well, he's like 30. And they're like, what? Like, what are you doing? What do you mean 30? And come to find out, the guy ends up buying her like a tennis bracelet, and it breaks. So he's like, go to the jeweler shop and they'll take care of it. No big deal. So while she's there, he's like, do you want me to send this to your address on file? And she's like, what address on file? And so the guy tells her the address, and she's like, that's not the same house that I know that he lives at, And so He's like, well, the jeweler goes, well, he bought 2 tennis bracelets that day and shipped both to this address. Come to find out, the guy's married, has 2 kids.
Okay.
So she discovers, oh my gosh, this guy's been, I'm the dude's side piece, even though he's told me he was single and all that shit. So all of a sudden, this girl starts getting like death threats. Like, I'm going to kill you. Blah, 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 blah. So she immediately assumes his wife found out.
Yeah.
His wife found out what happened. Well, she meets his wife. His wife essentially kind of threatens her without really threatens her. She's like, she's like, oh, nice to meet you. You know, I'm glad my husband had a talk at your school and blah, 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 whatever. And she's like, you know, I'll do anything to protect my family, essentially is what she says. So that's where the girl's like, well, it's got to be your wife. Your wife has got to be trying to kill me. She's like writing notes, breaking stuff, wrecking my, stuff and all that jazz. And he's like, well, I'm going to leave my wife. Don't you worry about it. I'm leaving my wife and we can be together. And then, of course, he tells his wife, the lady's just a fling. It's not a big deal. So what really does it is the girl thinks the wife is after her. The wife has no idea what's happening, aside from the fact the wife knows about the affair, and she's told the girl, stay away from my husband and my family, or else, But this girl has a best friend. Come to find out, the one that has been threatening her and trying to wreck her life is her best friend's older sister that was also in a prior relationship with this dude when she was in high school. So this guy has been doing this essentially forever. And like he essentially goes, finds a new piece and just kind of goes from there. Yeah, the movie was crazy. I wasn't expecting that twist. I legitimately thought, go ahead.
Do you think it is crazier or less crazy than Stalking Laura?
Oh, less crazy than Stalking Laura.
Stalking Laura is like one of the craziest things I've seen this year.
Listen, I gotta say, if anybody out there has watched Stalking Laura, please give us your critique of this movie.
Oh my God, man.
That movie was insane. I told you how crazy that movie was. And that's essentially why I keep watching these 90 movies.
I put that on the same level as that other one I was telling you about that I randomly watched that was from the 80s where those school kids faked a school shooting to get out of their final. Like it's at the same level of like, wow, like what is happening? This is 30 minutes. This movie is a mass shooting. What the fuck?
It's crazy. And I didn't think that they were going to go that hard in that movie. I legitimately thought.
I didn't think so either. I thought like, okay, they'll probably gloss through this and then get to him on trial or something.
Yeah, that's what I
didn't expect it to be 30 minutes of that movie is literally him walking around the building blowing people away. I'm like, my God, dude.
Yo,
like,
that was just crazy.
That movie is crazy.
Like that, yeah. This movie was entertaining, I will definitely say the most. And the twist in the middle where it ended up being her best friend's sister that was doing it is one I honestly wasn't expecting. I legit thought it was the wife that was causing the shit. Until one point in the movie, and then you're like, oh my God, that was the sister of her best friend. What the fuck is happening? Yeah, it's on Tubi, Lying Eyes. Give it a shot. But again, if you haven't watched anything, Stalking Laura is where that movie is.
I would say, yeah, of the Tubi jams that you have mentioned, Stalking Laura is the one to watch because it just it hits you in the face from the beginning. Like it's in the first 5 minutes. Like that dude is just immediately up all on that chick, and she's like, "I'm not interested in you," and it just keeps escalating and keeps getting crazy.
I would say Stalking Laura. No one would tell. Lying Eyes.
There you go. That's your watch order for that. Yeah,
that's my movie hierarchy right now.
And like you could 90s crazy
you could literally watch either one of those no one would tell movies.
Like,
but I think
Stalking
both of them,
Laura, I think is the top one of like
Stalking Laura.
You want to just be mind blown at something they would not make a movie at that level today. That whole mass shooting thing would be glossed over in like a very quick almost like implied thing. They wouldn't spend 30-ish minutes on that.
Would not spend 30 minutes on that. Not at all.
Not at all. So, that's good though. That's crazy. Yeah. We kick over to the few emails that we have.
We'll do it.
We have a few. Blake from Kansas City, Missouri. Howdy, guys. Well, the dust, I guess, is somewhat settled on Sony's decision to end physical PlayStation games. Are you guys still in the same mindset with it going forward? Any further thoughts on the entire situation? Thanks. I mean, I have said, I think I said it last time or the time before, like, for me, I think the next generation is building a new PC and just emulating old games and playing some of the stuff that comes out new, but that's kind of it. Like,
yeah, I just don't. And the biggest thing for it is I just don't see the. I get it. I truly get it. We're going towards the digital age. That doesn't bother me when I buy games on Steam. The biggest problem I have with it is it's just like you can't say you're killing physical media on your next console, like in the same breath when you just said we ended a partnership with one person, so you're losing your entire digital library. This, like that right there should be a reason why you shouldn't be supporting how they're playing the digital market. Like,
well, let me read the other email really quick because it plays into this.
Yeah.
And then I have something more I could say on it. Jesse from Salt Lake City, Utah. Hey, dudes. I'm sure by now you're probably sick of hearing about the physical media Sony thing, but my question for you is, at this point, with everything from this situation, memory and GPU prices skyrocketing to absurd prices, just every single aspect of gaming becoming more and more expensive, are you all just tired of it? Like, I'm at the point where I'm struggling to even care about anything that is new coming out. I've been replaying old stuff and just working on my backlog. I don't even have anything reserved for the rest of the year. I just really feel like they are killing this hobby. The dark thought I had today that I haven't heard anybody mention this or talk about this is, by Sony going, okay, we're not going to make physical games anymore. Everything's going to be digital.
Mm-hmm.
On the retail side of things, retailers don't really have an incentive to sell a PS6, right? The only thing they're going to get out of it is hardware sales. They'll get a little bit of, they get whatever their cut is for that. They'll get whatever the cut is for selling controllers and headsets and stuff like that. That's kind of it,
because
right?
I don't see, because, you know, they do sell those like digital cards where you can buy them and then you can just upload the code to get the game.
Yeah.
But then my problem becomes those never go on sale.
No.
So, like, what's
very
the point?
rarely. The only time I can tell you I've ever bought a POSA card on sale was when Dollar General, of all people, would put those Game Pass cards on sale, because that's how I stacked 3 years of Game Pass. Yeah. So, because I did that, the max you could stack at the time was 3 years, and I had that set for 3 entire years.
Yeah.
But in saying that, so retailers don't really have a big incentive, right? On the flip side of that, I can envision a dark future where Sony decides, you know what, we're not going to sell our consoles or any of this stuff in a store anymore. You have to buy it all directly from us, in which they control the price of it. They now don't have a percentage that they have to share with retailers on the sale of a system or a controller or headset. Yep. Now it's all one place where it will never go on sale.
Never, because there's no point behind it. Like,
you might, my guess is the sales that you would see would be like, you know, oh, it's Christmas, it's $50 off, and you get a digital code of whatever the hot PlayStation exclusive game is that year.
Yeah, I don't care to buy into a system that's going to be all digital. Like I said, whenever I know that Sony could pull the plug and take away my entire digital library. Like, I just don't, there just makes no sense behind that. Like, I get it if you don't have a PC and you don't want to move to PC and you decide to buy, you know, the PS6 and everything else, that's perfectly fine. Like, not everybody has the space for a PC and not everybody wants to deal with having a PC.
No,
I understand that completely. I just will not myself be looking towards the PS6. I have enough of my backlog from the PS4, the PS3, when I was buying hardcore all of the games that I had to buy, like I have enough to play and to work through later on. And the fact that I do have a PC, Steam throws sales all
the time.
So it's like if Sony actually did that and held sales that were worth it, I would probably be more in the line for that, but they're not going to. Like,
they don't have an incentive to once it's closed.
Exactly. Like, there's really no point. If you want to play Spider-Man 3 on the PS6, then you're going to pay $80 to play it. And yeah, maybe for Black Friday we drop $15 off of it so that you have to buy, you can buy it for $65. But it's like, no, I just don't see the point behind that.
Well, it also now makes more sense why they did they essentially pulled out of that PC initiative a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to try and drive people to buy a PS6 to play these games exclusively there.
Yeah.
And they're not going to have other outlets.
No way.
It just that's the part that bothers me. Like going all digital, I don't really care about that part anymore. I'm mostly digital at this point anyways. Like even I'll admit this, even Halo, a game that I wanted to get that physical copy of, I got to a point this past week where I was just like, I don't know if I will get this game physically that day without having to drive a distance, like not even in my town, to get a copy the day of. And I was just like, I'm just going to buy. I just kind of let that go. I was like, I'm just going to buy it digitally. At this point, too, that game's not on. It has been heavily confirmed the game's not on the disc. So it is unplayable offline. Very much so. I've kind of just, I've stopped caring about that. Like there are still things like, I will buy a physical copy of Control Resonant, and I'm getting a Steelbook. Now that Steelbook always gets me, to be fair, for a physical copy, but I've let that go a while ago. And that's not the aspect of this that really bothers me. The aspect that bothers me is it becoming a closed system where there is only one storefront. They control it completely. Things will not go on sale, because a lot of the arguments I see now, like any arguments I see like kind of supporting it, are the arguments of that, oh, well, shit goes on sale all the time, which, like, yes, right now does go on sale pretty frequently. They're always having deals, but when that is the only way to obtain this stuff, they're not incentivized to have sales that often.
Nope, not at all.
So that's what bothers me about it the most. I don't believe these rumors that this next Xbox is going to magically come out and have a disc drive. I keep seeing, like, it's like every day I open Facebook or something and I see people trying to peddle that rumor, and I'm like, what is actually supporting that rumor? Like, if anything, they've been even more proactive without just straight up coming out and saying they're not going to make physical games anymore. Their last games that they put out have been all digital. They've been codes in a box. So I just don't see what would incentivize them, other than they want to pull a 2013 Sony and say, well, we still have physical games on our system. I just don't see them doing that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree.
And the other aspect that I see, because I didn't put the news article in here, but that Ubisoft, the guy that's the head of Ubisoft, he came out today and said he doesn't feel that it's a big deal because it's removing a expensive component from a console, which is the disc drive. I'm like, the disc drive's not that expensive, especially in 2026 when you got to put memory and a GPU in these things, which are astronomically expensive right now.
Yeah.
Removing the disc drive is not going to save that much money from it. So it's a bummer. And like I said, I think that's where I sit with it right now, is building a PC, emulating the old stuff that I do want to play, which I can already do on the PC I have, but I do recognize that the PC I have now is 6 years old. I do need to build a new one and kind of future proof it. And also the way prices are going, this might be the last PC I build that I could afford, because it's getting that absurd right now. But I really think that that's the future at this point. If things are going digitally, and also Sony doesn't have things set in place the way that Steam does, or Valve, the way that Microsoft even does when it comes to things like refunding digital games. They don't have any of that set. I've heard nothing but horror stories on people trying to refund digital purchase on PlayStation, whereas like I personally have successfully refunded several things on the Xbox store, and Steam is probably the best example of making a refund on there. Like they have a very clear set, like it is 2 hours of playtime or 2 weeks from your purchase. So, and I think that is the right way to do that. They don't ask any questions, they refund it. And I think that there's stuff like that Sony needs to set in place. I don't know if they're going to.
They're not going to.
But all these people acting shocked even still that Sony's not going to come out and address it. They never will.
No, they've said what they wanted to say. They're going to be done with it now. So, like, you can sit there and yell to the top of your lungs till you're red in the face about Sony getting rid of the disk drives, but realistically, they don't care. They don't care at all what you say, because guess what? You bought a pre-order of GTA 6. What the fuck do they care about?
Yeah, that was their big test, as we've discussed. Like GTA 6, that thing flew off the digital. I don't understand it. I still don't understand it. You're paying for something 4.5 months early that will never run out. Like pre-ordering it today is not going. Like there's nothing that's going to prevent you from buying that game digitally day one.
Nothing. Like, I don't understand.
I understand maybe like a week before if you want to pre-order it to preload the game because it's going to be an astronomically large download. I get that because that's probably what I'll do. But to pre-order it right now when you get nothing, there's no benefit. I don't get it.
Don't understand it.
Next email we have comes to us from Dylan from Santa Cruz, California. Hi, 572 crew. With the release of the new Castlevania game coming out in October, I've honestly never really dabbled in them outside of those original NES games. Is there any you would recommend that I can play before the new one? I'm really intrigued by Belmont's Curse as I'm a huge Dead Cells fan. I guess I would be the expert for this
that's
question.
a you question right there, dude.
I mean, again, I'll move to the side. The sign's right behind me. Symphony of the Night, if you've never played anything past the NES games, because the NES games, the Super Nintendo, Super Castlevania 4, Dracula X, those are all kind of the same type of Castlevania game. They're more arcade focused, more like that's more of the focus of those early games. Symphony of the Night was the first that kind of made, Metroidvania a thing outside of, Super Metroid. And I think is still the best in the blueprint for those. There are excellent DS games and GBA games, and there's all collections. Those are all available in great collection packages now, and they're on every platform. They're on Steam, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation. Those collections are everywhere. But I would say to start anywhere, I would start with Symphony of the Night. I still think, even though they made that same type of game like 8 times in all those other versions, that is still the best one. If you want to dabble in the 3D side of things, I know there are people that swear Castlevania could never be a 3D thing and hate the 3D versions. I mean, I 100% understand Castlevania 64's hatred. I defended that game for a long time until I tried to play it more recently, and like that game is a nightmare to try and play today, but most 64 games are. But I played a lot of that game as a kid and really like Castlevania 64. But Lords of Shadow, I highly recommend Lords of Shadow 1. 2 is okay, but I highly recommend the first Lords of Shadow. I think that game is a tremendous God of War clone that in many ways does some stuff better than God of War. And there's good ways, like you can play that on Steam. I believe it is a backwards compatible game on Xbox.
What game was it again?
Castlevania Lords of Shadow. PS3, I think you can play it digitally, like through the streaming thing, but Steam is the best way to play those games. I would think now, if you want to play Lords of Shadow 1 or 2, 2 is okay. It's a follow-up that I didn't like how they handled the story in that sequel in compared to the first one, but it also, like, if you, I mean, now it's not a spoiler to tell you because it is literally on the cover of the second game. The cool twist of the first game is that you are playing the character that becomes Dracula. That's the twist of the end of the first game. the second game, you are fully in Dracula mode. So
I will go ahead and preface this to that person who emailed us. Steam, if you have Steam, currently has a lot of Castlevania games on sale right now. So, like, speaking of Castlevania Lords of the Shadow, the Ultimate Edition, which is regularly $29.99, is right now $5.99.
Highly recommend it. That's the best way to play that game, too.
Yeah. And let's see.
There's also the one that's in between it that's more of a Metroidvania type game called Mirror of Fate.
I was just about to say Mirror of Fate.
That takes place in between.
$2.99.
Yeah, not a bad game. Of Metroidvanias, that would probably be my weakest one, I would say, but it's not a bad game. And it does kind of bridge the gap between Lords of Shadow 1 and Lords of Shadow 2.
Yeah, I think you're doing yourself a great disservice if you don't go ahead and snag some of these games.
I will say, ironically, the one that is not on Steam would be Symphony of the Night. They never put that on Steam. There is a great way to play that on PlayStation. And the absolute best way to play that game is if you buy that 360 arcade version that is fully backwards compatible. That is a true... I want to say remaster. It's not really a remaster, but that is a true port of that game from the PlayStation. If you play it on PS4, the version that they released, I don't know, like 2017, 2018, it is in a collection with Dracula X and Rondo of Blood. That game is the Sega Saturn port of that game. So if you are somebody like me who has played through Symphony of the Night probably 100 times, you will notice immediately that the music is different and stuff like that. If you've never played the game, you will not have that problem and you'll be perfectly fine. But for someone like me, you immediately know, like, oh, this is not the Symphony of the Night I played all these times. So, but again, if you have an Xbox, even if you have a Xbox 360, an Xbox One, or a Series X, that is probably the best way to play that now. Unless you want to go hunt down a PS1 copy of it. It's pretty expensive now, unfortunately. But then you can also get into those collections. Like there is the GBA collection, there is the DS game collection, and I think they did also. I know you mentioned you play the NES games. They do have a collection that has all the NES games as well. But I think your best place to start, I would always say, is Symphony of the Night. If you want to play the 3D stuff, Lords of Shadow. If you want to just dabble in one of those collections, if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick the GBA one because I think that those are probably my favorite of those. But the DS ones are good too, especially get to like Order of Ecclesia with Shinoa. That's one of my cat's names too. That's an excellent game. So
I
you can't really go wrong.
Preface this by saying you can buy the Castlevania Collections bundle on Steam, which includes Castlevania Advance Collection.
Okay, that's all the GBA.
Castlevania Dominius Collection.
That's the DS games.
And Castlevania Anniversary Collections.
That's all the NES games.
For $31.92.
It's not a bad deal if you don't have any of that stuff on Steam.
So that's a pretty solid deal right there.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any of those. I think I have the Anniversary, but I don't think I have the other two ones on Steam. So maybe I should look at that just to have them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was looking at the Dominius collection right now, and it says, one friend wants this game, and that's you.
It's me. Probably. That makes sense. Yeah, because at some point I looked at it and probably was like, yeah, I should probably play this on my Steam Deck. I did also when Limited Run ran all of those collections for Switch, I have them all sealed on Switch. So like I have the Dominus collection, I have the Legacy one that you were talking about, the NES games, and so that the Legacy collection I think has the NES games. I want to say it has the Castlevania Bloodlines, which is the Genesis game. That game's really good, actually. I was replaying that recently. And I want to say it has Super Castlevania 4, which is the Super Nintendo one. I don't think it has Dracula X because they put that in a different collection. That was the second Super Nintendo game.
So, the Castlevania Anniversary Collection.
Yeah, what's in that?
Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, Super Castlevania 4,
okay,
Castlevania The Adventure.
That's the Game Boy game.
2, Belmont's Revenge.
Game Boy game.
Castlevania Bloodlines.
Okay, Genesis.
Kid Dracula. And then The History of
NES.
Castlevania.
That's like a little timeline thing that you can look at. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one doesn't have Rondo and it doesn't have Dracula X. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then the Dominius collection has Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, and The Haunted Castle.
Man, Portrait of Ruin is an awesome game that at the time that game came out, it had co-op on DS.
That's wild.
So you could play as one, because it's a brother and sister.
Yeah.
I think it's like Jonathan, I want to say it's like Jonathan Morris, and I forget the girl's name. You could link up and play that brother and sister character in co-op, and it was really cool. Really well done.
Really cool.
The other one that will never be on any of these collections, and I will lose my shit. Like, I'll flip this table if they will never do this. There is that awesome arcade game on the 360 that was a multiplayer game that it was on 360. It is backwards compatible on Xbox One, so that's why I don't think they'll ever do a like remaster of it. But it is essentially, you can pick from like 8 different characters. It has 6 people. You all start at different parts of a 2D map, and you work together to get to the middle to fight one of the bosses. I think it had 6 levels when it came out. They added 2 in DLC. That game is amazing. It's an amazing like co-op online game. It's called, I want to say it's called Harmony of Dissonance. Awesome.
Harmony of Despair?
Harmony of Despair. Okay, yeah, there's a Harmony of Dissonance, and then there's a Harmony of Despair, I think is that game I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was just looking it up.
I always get this confused. Yeah. Amazing game. It only came out on 360 and PS3. You can, one of these days, Dan and I are going to try it. You can stream it through the PlayStation thing if you have premium. Yeah. But I feel like that streaming a game to your console and then playing online is probably a terrible experience.
I can't imagine that.
That's why we haven't tried it yet. But like, we've talked about it for a while. Yeah. Like, man, I don't know. I can't imagine people are playing it today too. That's the other problem. So, but that is a weird offshoot cast of anything that is awesome. I'd love to see a sequel. I don't think it'll ever happen. So, but yeah, I didn't realize that those games are on Steam on sale right now. I think that that's a fantastic sale. So that would be a great place to check if you play games on Steam. Otherwise, like, check them out on whatever digital storefront that you, whatever your digital storefront choice is, you can do those. So any of those, I think, would be fantastic choices to play. But again, my personal choices would be either, I would either do Lords of Shadow if you're looking for a 3D thing, or I would try to find Symphony of the Night, or one of those collections. I think would be good, but all good stuff. Yeah. I'll read our last email here. I should have read it when we were talking about Avengers, but real quick, Ryan from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Any thoughts on this new Avengers trailer? It just felt like AI garbage to me. So, I didn't care for like. I'm going to go see the movie. Like I said, I just feel like it's an obligation at this point for me. But I will say, and will admit, like, watching the trailer, like, I had that feeling of like, man, some of this looks like AI. But I just think that's unfortunately where we're at with movies right now. But like that initial scene where they have Dr. Doom and he stops Thor's hammer, like that whole entire background looks AI generated to me.
Oh, like, yeah, the whole thing looked AI generated.
Whereas I feel like those other 2 Avengers movies actually felt like, hey, we're in a city, we're doing we're having this battle and everything. This all just felt like AI generated, like, hey, we're hanging out in this one area fighting. Now we're in a different area and people are fighting, like, I don't know. It just felt weird and disjointed. So, but I'm still going to see it. So I feel like it's an obligation. So
same. I feel like the same way. I'll see it, but I'm not exactly the craziest hype to go see it right now.
No, completely on the same page. So, that wraps it up for emails. So as always, send your emails to podcast572@gmail.com. Otherwise, we'll be back in another 2 weeks for another edition of the podcast. Thank you for listening or watching.
Stay safe.